Our next speaker, this is a special keynote presentation. You know, most 30-year-olds that I know are usually in line at the mall. This guy decided to buy one. Without further ado, I got a 15, 20-minute conversation with Mario Kiezi, M. Kiezi Investments. So, we've got a couple slides here I want to share with you. First of all, welcome to this community.
Thank you.
You and I first met, I think, for lunch maybe 4 years ago, and you had some very ambitious plans that didn't include a mall, included a park. But what struck me about you in that conversation was your creative vision and your interest in doing things outside of the box. 2 months ago, most people in this room never heard of you. Now you've got 50,000 followers on TikTok. You're growing this new mall. You're trying to revitalize it into the AntiMall. Give us some perspective on your background, on your interest in this project, and what drives you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having me. So I'm 32 years old. I started developing when I was 23. I knew nothing about real estate. I learned it with my back against the wall. I was a liquor store guy in Ohio. I worked from morning till night. We were taught nobody touches the registers except for us. We worked that way, eventually evolved from that, and bought a vacant corner in Oregon, Ohio that, we didn't have a Jimmy John's, so I tied it up, didn't know anything about anything. And fast forward 8 years or 9 years to today, we've learned a lot. We've done a lot of projects, and every day we're learning. We have a different perspective on how we do things, and I attribute that to me learning the business with my back against the wall, which is what I think the best way to learn it.
Well, tell us a little bit about that background. So you grew up in retail. The quote I read from you was, "I'm a retailer by trade, a developer by heart." So give us a little bit more perspective on growing up in the retail business.
So I've been working since I was essentially like 9 years old.
Is that like all Chaldeans have to do that?
Chaldeans have entrepreneurial spirit. We have Babylonian blood, and you can see that in the community. We do a lot of stuff like that. So I have entrepreneurial spirit flowing out of me, right? So, I grew up working side by side with my family. At a very young age, we owned Antoine's Ice Cream at Oakland Mall. And I was at Oakland when it was, the metropolis of its day. Everybody, knows that was the premier shopping center for a long time. And that really opened my eye to retail. I wasn't allowed to run the register. I would just fill up the cones and see the cool ice cream flavors. We had 56, which was cool because Baskin-Robbins only had 31. So I thought it was cool, and just to see different flavors and different things. And the first customer I ever helped, their total was $250, and I gave them back $850, and I messed up. And so at a young age, I just caught an eye for business. I'm 32, but I consider myself to be like a 2021 Mercedes-Benz with like 500,000 miles on it.
Okay.
So I've had my run and my drive, but I'm very ambitious, and I'm very open with the community. I'm very open with my followers. I take a pride in teaching, and I want to take my trials and tribulations and put them out there for everybody, because sometimes it's not always sunshine and flowers. We go through a lot as a developer.
Yeah, you are peeking the curtain back on your day-to-day process. Can we talk a little bit about, I know we have some slides here to demonstrate a little bit of your vision and what you see and how you're going to transition this mall into the mall of the future. Give us a little bit more about what we're seeing here.
Sure. So this is the Oakland. Right now, you know it as Oakland Mall. You probably haven't been there since some of you haven't been there since 1999, and some of you probably haven't been there since 08, 09, maybe even a little sooner than that. But we bought the Cirrus, and when we bought the Cirrus, it brought me back to the site, and what I realized was it still was viable. And the difference of this mall and other malls, and other people calling me and asking me, or trying to get into the mall, is 90% of malls will fail. 80% to 90% of malls will fail, but this is a single-story mall for the most part, and it's a very viable mall to this day. By default, it was very viable. And we were able to buy the Cirrus, which in turn had some title control over the rest of the mall. We were introduced to the owners. It was a pension fund out of California. And once the vision started to click, I knew I wanted it. And a very important part of this project for me is I've been very ambitious my whole career. I'm finally content. And I'm usually not a long-term holder. I will be a long-term holder, or plan to be a long-term holder for this asset, at least 25 years. And I feel that this will be a transitional retail project.
So let's talk about what we see here in the mall and how you're going to transition.
So this is a rendering. So so this is the grand entrance, which will somewhat look like this. We are looking for outdoor space. We are looking to build a grand court right in front of the grand entrance to get rid of that huge parking field there. What you see there is really like a concert style greenery, gathering area with two 7,000 square foot restaurants. But that's going to change. I mean, as we go on with this project, as I am inspired myself by people on TikTok and other people that come along my way, is I don't really want to do what everyone else is doing. And what I'm essentially doing is creating my own city. There's a city of Ferndale, there's a city of Royal Oak, there's a city of Birmingham, and what I think we have here is the city of the Oakland. And we have enough here to make it its own city. So we have to check all the boxes in order to make a city. And but like the canopy, if they can go back to that slide, the canopy is, it's a modern, slanted, modern day canopy. I told my guys last week at a meeting, I said, I want something different. I want you to walk into a heart, a bumblebee. I don't know what it is, but I want you to walk into something non-intimidating that is unique and different, and walking into a place of art, culture, and inspiration.
Yeah, I can tell. Obviously, I would ask you what's the most exciting thing you're working on today, but I'm pretty sure this is it. So is this 24 hours a day? I mean, you have other projects, you have other interests, right?
I do. I have large holdings. I've streamlined a lot of my focus here. I'm still working on other things. For me, it's like back of hand. I'm very good at, not trying to be egotistical, but very good at what I do.
Yeah.
And a lot of my stuff is stabilized. So I've completely exited out of construction, aside from the Oakland. I'm not looking to get into any new construction whatsoever. I highly suggest many of you to take suit of that, because it's a very challenging time to build. So with this mall, I believe I bought it for about 20% of what it would cost me to build. And that's put me in a comfortable situation to really focus here and not have to worry about starting a new project, going through entitlements, and then building it, and then being at the mercy of the tenants, and then 5 years later, hopefully turn a profit.
What has been so far for you the greatest satisfaction that you've taken out of this process?
There's a lot. I mean, it's been a really wild 2 months. I think that as of right now, we have a very strong local support. I think in the years to come, this will be a project that's recognized by the world virtually, but physically located in the city of Troy.
I can sense the passion and ambition in this project. It's amazing to see that. What else do you have here on the slides that you wanted to show us? You have, this is the Sears project?
No, that's the JCPenney wing.
The JCPenney?
That's an anchor space. We have about, just a reimagined image of the storefront there. And we have several different concepts we're sharing with very select retailers.
And what's your plan for this to help activate the spaces?
Yeah, so if you look at the plan here, I mean, the mall, like I said, is pretty much for the most part a single-story hub. The mall, which I consider an anti-mall, or hybrid anti-mall, because it's already a mall, so we're transitioning into an anti-mall, and what does that mean? We're bringing in a maker's culture, a Shark Tank culture. In today's day of age, I believe people, especially my age or younger, Generation Z, millennials, don't want to work for others. They want to be their own boss, whether that's through DoorDash, whether that's through creating their own product, or just selling things. I mean, I've met an entrepreneur. She's 19 years old. She sells candy on TikTok. She does $50,000 a week on TikTok in candy. She doesn't make it. She's just marketing. She markets it. So looking at this plan here, this is in the front you'll see the plaza. In the middle is a hub. We're going to create somewhat of a living room experience. And then there's going to be an Eastern market vibe here, where we have a farmer's market, both indoors and out. We have an international, we have a shoe store that takes 17,500 square feet that we're going to be planning to bring in 5 small plate restaurants. We're bringing in a food hall. As far as fashion goes, a lot of people in malls focus on fashion. We are looking to have less than 30% fashion. We're really looking to complement our fashion with value brands. We're not looking for pricing intimidation for our consumer. We don't want you to have to come in and, I want you to get a really fly outfit for $100 or less. And, it goes with our model of kind of an anti-big brand model. So 30% fashion. We have a food hall going in. That's the #1 problem with the property right now. It's nowhere to eat, nowhere to go have dinner, and we're really going to be bringing in some really artful food. I have people that I've spoken to from all over the country, and it's just beginning. We're really just taking our time. But we have boots on the ground. We're planning to have boots on the ground in multiple different places. Like I have a guy in California. I want him to be boots on the ground and say, hey, you have a food truck? It's great.
You want to relocate them from
I want to
California
relocate
to
the family to the Oakland and bring that experience for you folks as well as the community. And it's not about big brands. I don't want national names. I don't want somebody you see in a suburban shopping center typically. In entertainment, if you're within 100 miles of me, I won't take you. We're working with some of the best entertainment brands in America. And that's the key. Somebody mentioned earlier that Restoration Hardware is coming, so CB2 comes, and then all the other people come. It's a co-tenancy world, and once I bring that first big name, it's just going to be a domino effect to follow, especially with restaurateurs. And it's really just lining up the best noodles next to the best tacos, next to the best of all worlds. And that site is a marketplace, or it's a melting pot. I mean, think of you have the densest area of all minorities in the heart of Metro Detroit, and we're really going to embrace that. We're really going to embrace that while we activate the site, and in a hipster way, in a sense. I mean, I was never a hipster, and I
can't tell by the tie.
I mean, you've seen my picture in the cranes. I mean, I am who I am. I wear a tie. I can communicate with communicate with all different levels of people. I'm a people person, and it's just important for me to create a culture here that I don't think we've ever seen before.
That's a good point to bring up in terms of the diversity in the city of Troy. I was once told that if you raise the flag from every country that's represented in the city of Detroit, it'd be more than 70 different countries are represented in Troy. So it is a melting pot with a variety of people. What is your greatest need in the mall? Like, what if there's somebody in the room that represents somebody with the right idea for you? Like, what are you looking for that could fill a slot right now, right today, that you give them a lease?
Respectfully, I can't answer that question. What I've found with brokers, and I, usually have an open office to a broker. There's no broker out there that really has my vision in the sense of the maker's culture that we're looking to create. A lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing is experimental, and a lot of stuff that we're doing, I will be personally doing it myself to start and launch. And there's a project in Costa Mesa, California called The Lab. And that project's an AntiMall, it's an industrial building. He started the project with 20 of his own concepts. And I'm an entrepreneur, but I also have others that are coming to me that are very entrepreneurial, and I want to help empower them. So I'm not saying I'm going to own all these businesses by myself, but what I want to do is literally, like I have a very, not upscale, but gourmet ramen noodle concept. Well, I don't know if there's anybody in this room that really wants to open that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it out. I'm going to work with world-class architects and my world-class team, and we're going to build out this unit to the spec, and then we're going to find a chef, and we're going to help that chef, empower him to service the community.
And how are you finding all this talent to help you with your creative vision? I mean, I saw one of your videos. You've got all these pictures on the wall of where your vision is for this project. So how are you sourcing talent?
Yeah, I've been very blessed with a great team, and I've been introduced to some we're very lucky. We have some of the best developers in companies in Michigan, in our backyard. So I was able to, legal, we have that covered. As far as development, I mean, we have 2 individuals that have been instrumental formerly with Taubman that are helping me make sure I don't make mistakes. A breath of fresh air for them, because I'm not your typical mall developer. So, we're not looking to bring in American Eagle and Tommy Hilfiger. We're looking to bring in a maker's culture, like I mentioned, and unlike anyone's ever seen before.
So music, art, food, driven by music, art, food?
Museum, art. I mean, we're very sensitive to the community. We're looking at sensory rooms for kids. We're looking at a slime museum. We're looking at very experimental retail. And a lot of that retail, to me, it's like a retail warehouse. So in the mall, or the AntiMall, the Oakland, is we're going to open a spot, right? So to give you an example, we're working with an entrepreneur. She makes cotton candy, right? So we're going to open up a 1,000 square foot cotton candy store. Sounds crazy, right? That cotton candy store is going to be built out in a really unique manner, but it'll be virtually advertised to the world through TikTok, right? I mentioned the girl sells $50,000 a week in sales in candy. So the store is a retail warehouse, so we're going to be virtually selling all over the world, and then the community will have an advantage to be able to walk in there and be able to purchase. It'll be fun for the kids, And that's our experimental retail. I have $1,000 in retail sales possibly, but $8,000 going out the back door.
Well, it's incredible to see what you've built in a short period of time, and this vision and passion that you've gone all in on yourself. It's admirable to see somebody willing to take that kind of risk. I mean, I know retailers and developers do that every day, but this is a big play. So I wish you all the best with it. There is somebody here in this room that might be thinking, how can I start my own AntiMall? So would you have any advice for them?
Well, be you, be unique. I mean, there's, I see a different future than our present. We're closer to 2040 than we are the year 2000. You have to adapt to that. The things of the past might not work, and the things of the future will be different. And we'll have our own trials and errors, but I think that we've connected with Generation Z, we've connected with millennials. I'm a millennial myself, and I have 9 nieces and nephews under the age of 12 now. So I've really seen, I asked them for their advice. I mean, I'd rather ask a 12-year-old for their advice on what I should do in the mall than, maybe somebody a little older. So, we're, as far as an AntiMall or other plans, I don't know how many properties you can compare this to. I think this is a one-of-a-kind property. It's it's in the heart of Metro Detroit. It is literally a pin drop in the heart of the community. And I don't know how many projects you compare it to, but look at Partridge Creek. I made a TikTok about it a couple days ago. It's in receivership. They're looking for an owner. You can take it, add entertainment, add food hall. You can do similar things. But that just goes to your vision. I mean, how hipster are you, or how modern, how forward-thinking are you, and what are you capable of? Talk is cheap. What can you execute on?
Well, you've done a lot in the last couple months, and congratulations on all your success over the last decade. I wish you all the best. I admire your tenacity. I think it's pretty obvious. And if anybody's going to win betting on themselves, I think it's this guy right here. Thank you very much for being here. Mario Kiezi. This is great. Thank you. Thank you.